He looks...
And we can join Simon Holt for the call in the Molecomb.
That's it, they're lined up. And they're off, away. Vingegaard on the extreme right in the green and white hoop sleeves. Going forward is Aaron and Aesterius on that right-hand side. Soldier's Heart just a little away from them. Down the centre, racing quickly, Uzdi Atoe along with Fuji Mountain. And then on the left is Celandine as they carry on through the first couple of furlongs. Behind the leader, Zanzibar on the far side with the man, and then Big Mojo. Mr. Lightside in the firing line as well in the green and white jacket. And then Aesterius just tracking them. The red cap towards the centre goes well at the moment. Running down inside the final quarter mile. Mr. Lightside far side with Uzdi Atoe. Aesterius coming through. Aesterius on the near side in the white and the spots. On the far side, Big Mojo with Celandine. They race inside the final furlong. Big Mojo in the blue and red jacket just getting up from Mr. Lightside. Stable companions and Aesterius on the near side, but Big Mojo is too good. Big Mojo tied for second between the winner's stable companion Mr. Lightside and Aesterius, and they're followed home by Celandine, and a late runner was King's Call.
If you think you've seen this before, you sort of have. That's Big Mojo winning the Molecomb for Sylvester de Sousa, trained by Mick Appleby. And of course, he won this race 12 months ago with Big Evs, who went on to triumph in the Breeders' Cup. 25-1 this horse is returned, winning on just his second start and divesting himself of his maiden tag in the Molecomb at Group 3 level, no less. His stable companion, Mr. Lightside, who travelled really strongly into this race, is in a photo with Aesterius for second, and we'll hear from the judge which of those two has chased home Big Mojo most closely. But my goodness, Mick Appleby has done it again.
Yeah, what an effort as well. I mean, I know this horse has been very highly regarded, and to be fair to Mick, he is quoted as saying he's not that far off Big Evs in today's paper about this horse, and I knew that he thought there wasn't a huge amount between him and Mr. Lightside, as it has proved, but Big Mojo probably is the horse with the more potential going forward, whatever happened today, in that his size, his physique, his mental immaturity. We saw a little bit of a snapshot of that in the paddock when he was starting to just get a little bit het up, but he's overcome it all. And look, he's a big strapping colt. I don't think he's a out-and-out 5 furlong horse in the way that Big Evs is and was.
He hasn't won in the same kind of style, has
he hasn't, and he's not quite as all speed. He will step up to 6 furlongs, but you know what an effort from the whole team, and Connor Quirk, who buys these horses for Paul and Rachel, the owners. They've obviously done a tremendous job in the last couple of years sourcing these exciting 2-year-olds, and Mick's doing a wonderful job training them.
He's steady out of the stalls, and he's dropped back towards the rear. You can spot him with a sheepskin noseband. In the early stages, there's a choice made by David Probert to come towards the stand rail on Aaron, and that horse was alone and isolated and probably disadvantaged.
Yeah, probably hasn't helped him, but he's shown speed towards that near side, but I think cut out fairly tamely. Big Mojo, the winner, just tracking them, and that was that you knew at this point that he had a chance, because the worrying part of the race, the query was going to be that early part of the race, whether he would have the speed to deal with that downhill section, but he has, and I think this is a colt with an awful lot of class to win this second time out and do it over a fast 5 furlongs, which would probably be sort of well, look, it is the minimum, isn't it? But you know what I mean. I don't think he is an absolute 5 furlong through and through horse.
The more I look at it, the more I think he's done that very impressively.
He has,
because he's travelled into the race really nicely, and when he's been asked to go and win it, he's just been a bit green, and he's managed to stamp his authority on it, despite doing a few things babyishly in the closing stages. He looks like he's very good. We're wondering whether it might be a juvenile course record.
Wow.
56.13. It's those conditions whereby they're not so fast that horses won't let themselves down, and it's fast enough to be able to record these quick times.
Yeah, I mean, he's really powered through it, hasn't he? He's taken a lead from Mr. Lightside, who, you know, the race developed lovely for Big Mojo in that he got that lead through the middle, and horses were carrying him to a race and giving him a target, but he's still very green, and he's an exciting colt. Mr. Lightside has run a screamer.
He's
Aesterius in second has obviously gives a bit of ballast to the form. That previous listed winner, 5th at Royal Ascot, lots of experience. He was on the premises. Celandine's not beaten that far.
She's hung a bit, hasn't she? I don't think she's enjoyed the track. She hangs to her right as she's trying to deliver her challenge, and then she hangs to her left when beaten.
Yeah, she was hanging a little bit.
I'm hearing the stewards are reviewing the first 3 places in this particular race, which is interesting because the klaxon hasn't been sounded. That has just been relayed to the PA here, the public address system. So we need to have another look at that, really, reviewing the first 3 places home. The head-on maybe would be helpful. There was some shifting about. So, Big Mojo with the sheepskin noseband, 4th from the left. The sheepskin noseband next to him in the green and white is the 3rd place Mr. Lightside, and 2 across to the right is Aesterius with the red cap.
Big Mojo definitely comes across a bit, doesn't he? I mean, I wouldn't. Nothing I've seen makes me think that there's enough to suggest that there's going to be any changing of positions here. Ooh. I mean, the winner's obviously given a shove to Mr. Lightside, who in turn has given a nudge to Aesterius. But
yes, and there was some intimidation before that, wasn't there? So the winner has intimidated by shifting left the eventual 3rd, Mr. Lightside, who has intimidated and then bumped the 2nd, Aesterius. Wouldn't mind seeing that again as well. I don't know whether we have any other angles, such as above or behind. They might be, the scout angle might be interesting here. And also I wouldn't mind seeing just the final furlong so that I can just get a handle on the relative positions of where they are and how they were going at the time. I must say, on first couple of runnings, it wasn't something that occurred to me. And it's interesting the klaxon hasn't been sounded.
No. I mean, I don't see that this is any interference that is going to make a difference to the result. The winner's won clearly. He was ahead, he was clear of Mr. Lightside at the point that he comes across him and gives him a bump, wasn't he? He was already ahead, I think. Well, he was clear. Not clear, but
no,
he
wasn't clear,
no, he wasn't clear. He was in a clear lead, wasn't he?
I mean, interference has taken place.
Well, it has, yeah, but it hasn't. I don't think it's affected the result. I mean, Aesterius has Mr. Lightside has in turn given a bump to Aesterius, but Aesterius ends up finishing ahead of Mr. Lightside anyway, and the interference in the first instance is caused by Big Mojo, who, as I said, it's not.
Might with an uninterrupted run. The sufferer finished in front of the interferer.
I don't think he would. No.
And then you have the knock-on effect. Well, the sufferer has finished in front of the interferer in that sense. The knock-on effect of the 3rd shoving the 2nd. The 2nd has been able to get past him anyway.
Yes.
So I can't see this.
No, I don't really see any problem.
What do you think Unibet have quoted Big Mojo for?
Probably the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sure you were going to say Nunthorpe, because that would be a much more sensible answer.
No, the whole story with connections was the Breeders' Cup, wasn't it?
So. It was.